What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. Okay, we got some urgent news for everybody. Well, really everybody here, including people on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, veterans, people on survivors, and really even people that aren't on Social Security and might be on Social Security soon or will be on Social Security in the future. So really this pertains to everybody. This new report comes directly from the government, the Congressional Budget Office, and I'll show it to you here on the screen. We'll go over it here directly. This is very, very important because it gives us kind of some dire news directly from the government about Social Security running out of money sooner than anticipated, and Congress is going to need to make action here, or else we might not have a Social Security trust fund. And this is a big, big problem here because this is one of the first things Congress wants to work on here this year. And Republicans and Democrats have different ideas about this. If you've been watching my channel here, you know that Democrats and also Senator Bernie Sanders, who's technically an independent in the Senate, actually have introduced legislation and actual bill to expand Social Security. This is right from Senator Bernie Sanders' Senate.gov page, and increase Social Security benefits by $2,400 a year and extend the solvency by 75 years, which is very important, and actually pay out more money to everybody underneath the Social Security umbrella, SSI, SSDI, VA, are survivors and veterans. So it would increase the benefits and extend the solvency by 75 years, where there's been multiple different reports here that when the new Congress comes in, the debt limit showdown, Republicans want to use the debt limit to possibly force cuts to Social Security and Medicare because the Social Security trust fund is going to run out of money here in the near future. Well, this new report, which I'm going to show you here, and we'll go over some of the details of it on, actually shows that Social Security may be running out of money sooner than we thought. So let's go over it here now. And also, if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe down below to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on new videos. I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country on a daily basis, including important stuff like this. We had 35 different states last year that were in 2022 that sent out state stimulus checks, inflation relief checks, property tax relief checks, utility assistance, a lot of things that people don't know about. And I'll also keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. So subscribe, click the bell icon after subscribing, and thanks so much for liking and sharing these videos. All right, let's jump right in. And just so you know, it's completely free to subscribe. Okay, so according to new report by the Congressional Budget Office, we had previously thought Social Security Trust Fund was going to be start running out of money by 2035. Now we're starting to see details that the Social Security trust funds could be depleted by 2033. This is only 10 years from now, guys. 10 years from now. This is very, very in the near future. The cause for the funding challenge is that spending for Social Security is set to increase sharply in relation to GDP in the next decade as the large baby boom generation retires, according to the CBO. Also, because this last COLA raise, the Social Security raise for 2023, the Social Security increase for 2023, was the largest in over 40 years since 1981, and the fourth largest raise ever. So that's going to take more money out of the trust fund than anticipated. So this was not in the projections previously. So they're drawing more money out of the Social Security Trust Fund than previously thought. Let me show you. So here is this Congressional Budget Office report from cbo.gov, a nonpartisan analysis for the U.S. Congress. They're kind of like the math people, right? They kind of do math for Congress and for the U.S. government. You can see they kind of have this chart here. In Congressional Budget Office projections, spending on Social Security exceeds revenues to the program in 2022. So spending on Social Security exceeds revenues coming in. So they're spending more money on Social Security than money that is coming in, and increases relative to GDP over the next 75 years, while revenues remain stable. If combined, the program's trust funds would be exhausted in 2033, only 10 years from now. And you can kind of see this graph here. Social Security outlays and revenues with scheduled and payable benefits. And you can see here the blue line is the amount of money that Social Security is spending, and the green is the amount of money that it's taking in. Also, keep in mind that the baby boomer generation, more and more of them are retiring. And remember that it's just basically a large group of people or a large population of people that are, now in their, 60s, 70s, and are more and more not working, retiring. So as they retire more and more, they're not paying into the system. So you can see the blue line going up because they're now taking money out of Social Security and not paying into Social Security. So it's just kind of you could see the growth curves kind of changing there. You can see here the Congressional Budget Office says that in this report, they describe the long-term projections for Social Security, which really is not that long-term anymore. But they do project it out in the future quite a long ways. One set of projection reflects a scenario in which the program continues to pay benefits as scheduled under current law with no changes, regardless of whether the program's trust funds have sufficient balances to cover those payments or not. If the gaps between the trust funds outlays the income occurs as they project, then the balance in the trust fund will decline to zero in 2033. So based on the current projections, just take this into thought here, just kind of grasp this. Their current projections say that the trust fund will decline to zero in 2033, and then the Social Security Administration will no longer be able to pay full benefits when they are due. Therefore, another set of projections reflects a scenario in which Social Security outlays are limited to what is payable from annual revenues. This is from payroll taxes and income taxes on benefits. So remember, they take money in from people as they're working, only up to $160,000 in income. It was $147,000 and some change in 2022. They've upped that to $160,000 and some change in 2023. After that, they don't tax Social Security they don't tax income anymore because that's the maximum benefit that someone can earn for that year. And also income taxes on benefits as well. Remember, you can pay income tax on Social Security, as we've discussed in other videos. When you want to make sure you're subscribed so you learn all this stuff, or if you don't know. Plus, there's a lot of states tax Social Security as well. I think it's 11 states and maybe more counting after the trust funds are exhausted. Social Security finances, the CBO projects that if Social Security paid the benefits as scheduled, spending on the program would increase from 5% to 7% in 2096 as a percentage of GDP. And revenues would remain around 4.6% of GDP over the same period. So they're not going to be taking in any new income percentage-wise. The Old Age and Survivors Insurance Trust Fund would be exhausted in 2033, and the Disability Insurance Trust Fund would be exhausted in 2048. If the trust funds were combined, their exhaustion date would also be 2033 as well. In their projections, Social Security's actual deficit over the next 75 years is equal to 1.7% of GDP, gross domestic product, or 4.9% of the taxable payroll. That is, the federal government could maintain the necessary trust fund balances through 2096 if it immediately and permanently raised the payroll taxes by about 4.9% on everybody, which is a lot, or implemented an equivalent reduction in benefits, which do people want a reduction in benefits? Uh, Almost everybody's going to say no. Or combination of tax increases and benefit reductions. After 2096, however, the gap between revenues and outlays would widen. Distribution of scheduled benefits and payroll taxes. In the CBO's projections, average retirement and disability benefits in the first full year of claiming increases over time because of growth in average earnings. For example, initial benefits for retired workers born in 1990s who turn 65 beginning in 2055 are larger on average after adjusting for the effects of inflation. So, this is where Congress needs to do something. And this is where the Democrats and Republicans have kind of similar plans. This is where the Democratic plan is to actually raise benefits by $2,400 a year. And a lot of people say, well, how could they possibly do this? And Republicans actually have a kind of similar plan. They just don't want to pay the extra $2,400 a year because they think if they don't pay the $2,400 a year, and a lot of Republicans actually want to cut benefits, as you actually seen mentioned in there, because if they cut benefits, then more money would be in the fund and it could last longer. And this is all what's going to be happening here in 2023. It's whose idea is right, what should happen, more taxes, should they cut benefits, should they pay more benefits? Um, well, both of the ideas here is actually a very popular idea is to raise taxes on high income earners. That's where this plan by Democrats and Senator Bernie Sanders, like 200 different senators and congressmen actually in favor of this. So it's got a lot of support to actually increase Social Security benefits by $2,400 a year and extend the solvency for 75 years. Social Security Administration actually did the math on this, and it actually checks out. So, but again, they would need to get some Republican votes to pass it. So again, this is where compromise is going to come in between the Republicans and Democrats to pass something like this. This would raise taxes on high income earners. There's a couple different versions of bills like this over people that make over $250,000 or $400,000. Okay. And this would actually bring in so much money because there's a lot of people that make a lot of money that it would actually have so much money that they could pay out these additional benefits and extend the solvency for 75 years. Yeah, it's kind of amazing, right? Republicans actually want to do something very similar. They just don't want to pay out the additional benefits because they say, if we just keep that money in Social Security, it will last longer. Another kind of idea that I've actually just thought about is you think about Trump's first stimulus package was $2.2 trillion. Biden's third stimulus package or the third stimulus check package passed by Biden was $1.9 trillion. Neither of those packages was paid for at all. Nobody paid for it. They literally just went to the national deficit. We'll say $2 trillion for each of them. Nobody paid for them. It just went to the national deficit. They just literally, Congress passed them. They just signed the check and the money went out. They could literally do that for Social Security. You think about all the times they borrowed from Social Security, right? And, just kind of plundered from the money. They could literally just pass a bill like that and give Social Security a couple $1 trillion. They've done that how many times? They just passed a CHIPS bill act that was $250 billion like it was nothing and gave $250 billion to large corporations here just a few months ago. That was $250 billion that went to large profitable corporations like Intel and Nvidia, and that was like nothing. And again, nobody paid for that. There was no pay fors or anything like that. So they pass bills like that all the time for large profitable corporations or this, that, and the other thing. They spend almost $1 trillion on the military every single year. Again, go straight to the national deficit. But when it comes to time for like people, seniors, people that work their whole lives, we can't help them. It's got to be paid for. Every dollar's got to be paid in there. But in all reality, they could do something like that as well. Remember, they plundered from that money of Social Security, borrowed from there for years and years and years. So that is another option they could do. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll keep you up to date here with everything. This is going to be a big thing this year, and I'll keep you up to date here. So thanks for liking and sharing these videos here as well. You can click here to see my newest video on actually some good news for Social Security. That's my newest video here on that. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.